Welcome to another tutorial from TD Book. Today we're going to be looking at our template. I have created a MS project that I have configured so that it fits my project standards. The first thing I've done is I gone up under File, under Options. Under Options, for instance, your general settings, you could set those up. Under Display, again, you could make sure that they're also standing correctly. You usually don't have to do any modifications to this area. But under Schedule, this is where your modifications start. On Week, you set it, instead of Sunday, set it to Monday. You work from 8 to 15:24, and that is because in Denmark you work 37 hours per week, which is 7.4 hours a day. The 7.4 hours a day, that equals to that 1 hour. If you divide that by 10, that is 6 minutes. So 4 times 6 equals to 24. That is why 7.4. The next thing you need to make sure of is your task. The new tasks that are created are based on auto schedule. You also want to place the auto schedule tasks to start at the project start date. Duration is entered in days, work is entered in hours. You want to place it so that it is fixed duration. The task type is fixed duration. Otherwise, you will encounter some problems later on. The next thing you want to do is go down to Advanced. Under Advanced, you want to scroll down so you reach the bottom. And under Calculation Options for this project, you have Move End of completed parts after state state back to state state. These four you need to activate. Press OK to that. Then we need to go under the fan project and change working time. Under working time, you need to put in all expectations, for instance, all holidays that you will not be able to work on. Usually I do that. I enter the first holiday of the year and give it the year. Then I just put in the following holidays until I need reach the new year. Then I put in the year or the date of the year again, and so forth. The further you go on, the more or the longer you can use your template. But you also need to look at your work weeks. Under your work weeks, you have something that's called default. Click on default and then go to details. Under details, right now mine is set to work from 8 to 15:24. But if I choose them like this by holding down the left mouse button and say use project default time for these days, it goes back to the original one, and that was I worked from 8 to 12, then had an hour's break, and then again from 1 to 5. But I want to set these days to a specific working time, so set the days, click once with your left mouse button, press delete, go up on the top, 15:24, press OK. And now you have set up your working hours and your holidays. Press OK to that. And for your own fault, make sure that you save it once in a while. Right now, I have this one called template, but yours would probably just be called MPP because it's just a project file. But you'll learn to do this in just a sec. The last thing we need to do is we need to go under View, under Tables, and under Tables you have what's called More Tables. You have something that's called Entry. If you look in Entry, press Edit, you have all these indicators, the field names, and these field names are the ones that are presented below here or above all the columns. I don't want you to do anything in the one that's called Entry, but if I go out and then I do myself a favor, I press Copy, and once I get a copy, I change the name to Tracking Modified. Under Tracking Modified, there are some things that I need to have because the tracking, I need to be able to follow it. So Under work, I add a column or a field that's called actual work. Below that, you have start finish. You put one that's called actual start and actual finish. Then you have one that's called cost. You put in that's called actual cost after that. You can press OK, and then you can just don't press apply, just press close. Then you need to go up. You could place yourself on any given of these, for instance, task or view. But place yourself in task. Press down on this area over here. Go down and say more views. Under views, you have what's called your tracking Gantt. Under tracking Gantt, say edit and pick the table that you just created, the tracking modified. The same thing with the one that's called entry. Let me see. Oh, sorry, Gantt chart. Edit, and there it's supposed to be entry. Press OK, and again apply. The only thing that happens when you press apply is it switches between Gantt chart and tracking Gantt. You have your columns that you just created. Let's just say that this was a regular project file, not a template. What I would do then is I would go up, say save. In my case, I need to say a save as because I already saved it as a project template. And instead of this one MPP, you would just call it project template like this. Give it a name according to BIPs and save it. You won't get this dialog box. It's because I already have one that exists. I'm just going to say yes to this. But you will get this dialog box. And this dialog box asks you if there's some things that you want to extract or remove from your template. Right now, I don't want to remove anything at all. So I'm going to press save. One thing I forgot to inform you about is under my resource, or sorry, under view, sorry, under my resource sheet, I already created a resource, my own resource, which is a work, my initials, my max, and I just put in that I expect a salary of 30,000 kroners per month. See, that was your template. Once you created your template, you need to localize it. In my case, I have it out on my desktop. This one. I double click on it, and the minute I double click on it, it changes. So it removes the MPT, and if I show you out in my folder, you can see that my template has like a green bar above it where my regular project is just a blank area on the top. That is how you can distinguish the different types of files. But see, I just opened my new project, and what I would do is once I open it from the template, I'd press save, and I would save it, and I'm just going to call it process plan exercise. Again, according to BIPs, save it in the correct folder. In this case, I would advise you to save it on your P drive. Press save. Again, because I already have one that exists, I get this dialog box. That is pretty much what I wanted to show you in the first video. I hope you can use it, and thank you for watching.